It's the annual excursion to Thirsk to take the box of accounts down there, which I must admit I rather look forward to. It's like the end of year. Not that there's anything particularly exciting in last year's, however, the figures I think are going to be surprisingly good, because well, I didn't sell that many cattle. The ones I did sell, and the sheep as well, quite big prices for them. Even like old cows are making big money. But, well, good money, I wouldn't say big. I think it certainly will, what looked like being potentially disastrous year might turn out to be relatively good. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen with Brexit, and then of course the coronavirus kicked in as well, which, although it didn't directly affect me, I was in a mild panic last spring. I thought I was envisaging and wanted to shut markets down. That was the worst thing. So I'd sold some cattle earlier last year where I wouldn't have done that. But then this year, this past winter, which is still almost ongoing, frankly, I was low on feed because last spring, summer like now, was exceedingly dry. Silage crops were poor. Hay was not very. There wasn't a great deal of it, and what there was not that good, because it actually turned a bit wet around hay time, obviously, yes it does. But anyway, one way or another, I didn't have all that much feed, although I had. Luckily, really, I had like half a bale of hay left and about something like 50 bales of silage left over. And every last one of them has gone. There's about 8 bales of hay left, and it's not very good. It's the last, is it 25th of May? And the cows have only been out a little under 2 weeks. They went out on the 12th. And they've only just this morning gone across the river. Well, I must admit there was more grass there than I expected, but still it's rather wet because we've had the last few days it seems to think nothing of chucking down 5 to 10 millimetres in a day. But it sort of dries again. It's not like it would be in the middle of winter, but it's wet here and there over there. But it just got to the point where they're going to have to go, because where they were around the buildings and across the road, it's been through these wet days. There still is some grass there, but they're basically making it sort of muddy. And I gave them the last bale of last over-year silage, so they only have some hay left now. They haven't taken the last of the silage because it wasn't a very good bale, the last one. I should think they'll probably waste that now, because they won't be back up until for a couple of days at least, because there was quite a bit of grass down there. I've got my camera, I put it on now, and what I thought was I brought the power bank. I thought I would put it on, boost it all up while I was parked at Thirsk, so it has enough to come back again. Because otherwise you have to think about turning it off part way through. That kind of I just wonder if I even bloody formatted it, in which case if I hadn't, it might not have enough space on the card. Whoever is driving this car is a bit clueless. This is the worst thing about coming this way. You get held up behind things crawling along at 40 and 50 mile an hour, or even lower. You see, already it's taken me 25 minutes to get to here. the road gets a bit faster. As we go along here. Damn, there's a great big shower ahead. It's a good place to park. You see that four-wheel drive there? Its number plate more or less said Tory. T, it was T with two small ones. T-O-R-Y. Yeah, really had a big shower here. There's a winter body there coming into not here. I'm not quite sure I'd go flying past with that short of visibility. He's going to go quite slow though, this wagon when he gets moving. He's got bags of sand or something. This is a current trend, that motorhome just went past. He had a small car on the back of the motorhome. It looks a weird idea to me, but I know why they do it. Because it was a relatively big motorhome. What a cumbersome thing though, to drive. Oh, cow slips. That triangle there was covered in them, but I could see odd ones. Not as many as there has been. It looks a bit trampled, but I think the real issue is that it's been too cold and wet for them. Anyway, so the Sutton Bank car park was absolutely rammed, and the patrolling around making you pay. You can't even stop for 5 minutes without paying, so I'm not going to come back this way. I've gone back up either through Boltby Bank, which I don't think I will because I've done that the last 2 or 3 times, or the Coxwold Road, and back through Byland, I suppose. I'm not really sure yet, we shall see. I mean, there are some attractions to going back up the A19. when we lived here, this A19 wasn't here. The A19 went through the middle of Thirsk, through the edge of Thirsk, this edge of it, on this roundabout which is just ahead. There's some traffic lights, some sort of roadworks causing mayhem. Well, Thirsk is just a complete nightmare at the moment because they're doing some. See, this backed up right to here now. They're doing some roadworks in the middle. I mean, it's always busy. Even when it was coronavirus, it was busy, quite busy. But now it's ridiculous. We talk about the annoying thing is I didn't realise what they were doing, so I went through, meaning to park near the church, where I nearly always do. It's a couple of 100 yards walk back, and it was absolutely jammed full along there. You couldn't park anywhere, so I got back into the town from the far end past Tesco's, and it was just as bad there. So I just happened to notice a similar pickup to mine pulling out of the main marketplace parking places, and dived in where he'd just come out. So it worked out okay. And I had a quick waddle around and bought some new potatoes from the good grocers. Suddenly, you're back It's like 40 years ago or 50 years ago even. The road has hardly changed. It's possibly less well used than it was. And Spring Barley there looks sick. I can imagine if I'd had any of the shirt it would look like that. Here there's this rather don't quite know what this place is. I wanted to look at it a bit better. I came past it last time and thought, blimey. Quite funny. Coming to Kilburn in a minute, which is where the Mouse Man is based, or was based. The actual man, the shop is still there, and the workshops presumably, but they actually have wood stored in places here, there and everywhere. Quite a pretty little village, Kilburn. I think I'm going the right way. On the right there, that's the actual shop. I'm not very sure I'm going the right way. I think I should have gone left there because it doesn't really matter. Swanky little place. Actually, it was for a horsey place. It was a bit rough. Now then, what's this? A little place lost in the North York moors. So that's the road past the Black Swan at Oldstead. To be honest, they look a bit like they're going over down here. It's maybe a bit further on than I was imagining, but we're definitely on the correct road. We're quite suddenly come into Ireland. I can see the roofs of the buildings just ahead, and there I needed the top of the tower, top of the ruined bits. And I said, just look at this. It's one of the greatest sights of North Yorkshire. To be perfectly honest, I had to just stop back there and take some photos. Just go back a bit since I can. Fairly quiet. I stopped and did some photos, and I haven't been out more than a couple of minutes since it started to rain. It's not too serious. It says they're doing free entry. I don't know. Stapleton. One. This takes you quite smartly up to the main road, the A170. It's not a very good get out, but it'd be perfectly alright. And until the 1950s, certainly 40s, this was all moorland up here, just heathery moor. And they planted it, and it's actually its second generation now. This isn't the actual main road, it used to be here, but you go across this now, and this was the main road, but they rebuilt it a bit further over. I don't really know why. come out this main road, it's so quiet you wonder there's been a crash or something. The classic thing to do here is I don't often come this way now. You knock it into neutral and just let it cruise down here. When we used to come this way relatively often with a lorry, I don't really know why now. I used to go and get various pig stuff up, and you just let it roll down here. I don't know how much fuel you save, but it was quite a interesting feeling, because you can't really sort of go out of control, that's the point. Well, I mean, you could, but you're not going to plunge off a steep hill at the bottom. It levels out before the relatively sharp bend at the bottom. Not a single bike to be seen.